Thank you very much for your kind acceptance of my proposal. I feel honored to be among you in this amazing conference. In early March 2020, following the appearance of coronavirus cases in different parts of the country, Greece went into quarantine, suspending the functioning of shopping malls, sport facilities, restaurants and bars, etc. According to the guidelines issued by the Ministry of Health at the time, using a mask was the protective measure, together with social distancing and washing one's hands to avoid the transmissions of the disease from those already ill or from the carriers to those in good health. Indeed, the use of masks was mandatory for the protection of health professionals, but was not recommended for the healthy population. Despite this, surgical masks disappeared from pharmacy shelves in no time at all, as people bought them in large quantities unchecked. Soon, hospital staff were appealing for masks, which they needed both in the fight for those affected by the virus and for their own protection. Their plea for help quickly gave rise to the creation of a chain of solidarity, producing handmade face masks both by professional semestres and by women who knew how to sew and had a sewing machine in their homes. The research concerns an accounting of the involvement of semestresses in the villages of the northern Evros region in Thrace, and more precisely in the villages of Nea Visa, Sterna, Risia, and Kavilis. Is there? Whose undertaking to produce handmade fabric masks out of steel, pristine dowry clothes covered the needs of the hospital, of the Dimoticho, and of the security forces and the army in the region. The research makes use of the Facebook posts of the women's associations of the above villages and the material gleaned from telephone interviews carried out with some of these women. Using the approach of biographies of objects proposed by Padurai and Kopitov, I shall highlight the changes in the identity and the meaning given to the fabric that evolves in different contexts and the manner in which it is redefined culturally in new value regimes. Then, based on the anthropological views regarding material culture, I shall shift my focus from the fabric object's significance to the ways in which these interact with people with respect to the body and participate in social action according to Daniel Miller. The theory of object action possibilities, based on the work of psychologist James Gibson, is particularly useful in approaching the interaction of people and objects based on the latter's materiality. Gibson stresses the material possibilities of objects, which are activated only through the user's interaction with them. This perspective helps highlight all the possible uses and interpretations that a person can activate with respect to a garment or a piece of fabric based on the material possibilities that this offers. The contribution of the women of the villages of Northern Evros started off as private initiative on a voluntary basis following the call launched by the chair of the Women's Association of Nea Visa, Fani Baharidou. Everything began, she recounts, with the idea of one of our fellow citizens, who is a member of the board of our association, Dimitra Zoridou, who told me she would make face masks for her family. Everybody needs a mask at the moment. The health centers of the Evros region and the people who guard our frontiers and keep us safe night and day. All of the women showed an interest, and we started off in Nea Visa. The women of Kavili followed suit, and a short while later, those from the villages of Sterna and Risia. However, the difficulty in finding fabric because of the shops being closed led them to make use of the dowry linens, such as sheets and pillowcases made of hasses, a kind of what coarse cotton broadcloth. Materials with a sentimental value that were now charged with an additional symbolic content, protecting the vulnerable human body. We used linens from our grandmother's dowries. We opened the hot chests and our cupboards and brought out the broadcloth sheets and pillowcases we hadn't used. our own dowry linens and our grandmother's trousseau. Hasses is what we call the white cotton cloth made of relatively coarse yarn used in the past to make pillowcases and seats. It is cool and it washes and irons easily. There was a time when a dowry was measured by its broadcloth linens. The more such lines a bride had, the greater her dowry. The headscarves that Thracian women wore as part of their traditional costume were made of hasses too, as were the headscarves for daily use when working in the fields. For us, these materials have great emotional value, but what is important now is to achieve our goal, and we are proud of it. The volunteer semestresses from Nea Visa and from the other villages, Tassoula, Chryssi, Kyriaki, Dimitra, Maria, etc., take advantage of the properties of hasses to make their face masks, namely the fact it is cool material made of cotton, easy to wash and iron, to sterilize it. Thus, the dowry cloths are cut up to be transformed into face masks. They are sewn up following a pattern. They are washed to sterilized. Semestres can make up to 25 masks a day. There are a lot of work to make, entirely handmade. They are double-faced with intermediate layer of gauze, gathered sides, elastic loops for the ears, and very fine metal strips on the upper side. They are made by cutting two rectangular pieces of fabric. These two pieces are then sewn together so as to become one piece. The long sides are folded first, creating a small hem, and are either machined or hand sewn tightly. Then, along the short sides, the double layer of cloth is folded, creating a 1 to 1.5 centimeters hem, where the elastic will be threaded through later. On each short side of the mask, we thread a piece of elastic roughly 15 centimeters long, and we tie it tightly. If you wish to stabilize it, you can sew the elastic to the four edges. The face masks are ready and they can be washed, sterilized and used multiple times. We use every single inch of fabric. Nothing goes to waste. In this particular practice, the 3 R's principle, reduce, reuse, recycle, is perfectly applied. The women's initial goal was to make roughly 600 masks, an objective that was rapidly overshot by far, and deliver them to the army and the hospital of Didymoticho. In fact, if necessary, they were willing to produce them on a permanent basis, as many in Greece and abroad asked them for handmade masks. Our relatives, immigrants in Germany, asked us to send them masks because they couldn't find any on the market. In conclusion, I would say that the handmade masks from dowry linens produced by the women of Thrace's villages are materials of sentimental value, which are now charged with an additional symbolic load, that of protecting the vulnerable human body. The crisis therefore seems to be activated a reflex action of solidarity, which is evolving into a chain of contribution and mutual aid, satisfying practical as well as emotional, psychological needs. The handmade fabric mask becomes a garment that expresses vulnerability, an embodiment of the will to survive, a malleable form of shielding the self, but also of protecting the other.
Thank you, Nadia, for your fantastic presentation and for the Greek perspective. Yes, we have. It's fantastic. We have papers on masks, but they're so different because they come from different contexts.
I think that this example so that masks can carry many layers of meanings.